So let's do a quick quail update. So far, they're doing pretty well. I had one die, probably due to stress. It happens. Quail are sensitive birds. You move them, they stop laying. You move them, they die. You move them, they look at you funny, all that good stuff. So I put about 60 quail in here, and I don't have any separators between these three bins here. I do on this one because there are adult quail in here. These are all babies though. Well, the majority anyway. But the most important part is here, these quail can frickin' fly, and they can fly well. I watched one of these guys when I was putting these on today. As I brought it in and laid it on top, one took off, and my partner Kane was parked over there by the duck shed or duck tent. It took off out of here, flew over, hit the side of his truck, and landed. That's a good 25-30 feet. So these baby quail, you see the one jumping around there, that's exactly what it did. Jumped, took off, and flew over there. So they can fly well. These guys over here, the adults, I had a lot more. I sold 10 of them. They have their wings clipped because they fly well. So you see a couple eggs in there, one in the food bowl. But the most important thing that I wanted to show you here is the waste bins. I have to put a little kind of splash guard here, a dookie splash guard on the front, because what happens is they kick it out. You see that quail chasing after that fly. I got a lot of flies in here for some reason. The white attracts them. It's not because of the waste, but I wanted to show you the waste. These quail, let me preface by saying they're jerks. They get in this feed bowl and they roll around and kick it all out and all that stuff. So I've ordered something called a J feeder. I call it a J feeder. They call it a bin feeder, shaped like a J. It hangs on the side here, and you cut a hole in this and you stick the bottom half in, and it has a hopper on the back shaped like a J. That'll stop these guys from getting into the feed, rolling around trying to dust bathe in it. But the problem is when they kick it out, it all ends up in the bin. But you can see that it is catching every bit of it. We'll peek the camera down there. Look at that nice clean floor. Beautiful. Better slide it back in before they crap all over the floor. So my plan of these, troughs underneath here with the guards on the side is doing a fantastic job of maintaining the waste and keeping it in the bin where it belongs. I just need a splash guard, because you notice there's some stuff on the floor. Now some of this is sawdust and some is mulch that we've tracked in as we work in here, but the majority of it is just us. It's not really their waste. Crap, almost fell over there. You'll notice I have two little ducklings in here. My ducklings are starting to hatch. I've got in my my hatcher another 8. So they're just kind of drying out and fluffing up. Once they fluff up, they'll come out here with these guys. But those are 2 Muscovy ducks in there. And they're doing real well for being in with some quail. And they're freaking adorable. So I can't wait till I get more Muscovy ducks going. But of course, those guys will not be in with the quail. They will be in here and in here. This side I'm going to work on, during the day tomorrow. And I got to wait for the caulk to dry around all this. That's all that white. Wait for the caulk to dry around this, and then I'll nail down the screens and cut the supports or the dividers. We got the J channel in, or the C channel in, and that'll hold the dividers in place. And once I get all this together, I'm going to build new screens for the tops of these. I'm not sure whether or not I want to do a cover that covers individuals, or say 2. I'll burn that bridge when I get to it. So we'll make that determination tomorrow. But I am going to make these thicker. I think I'm going to do inch by inch, 2x4. Run them down on the table saw that I have kind of sitting over there somewhere, and make a nice frame with a center support in them so they all kind of stay together, because these things are a little floppy. But I'll put screen in them just like this to keep everybody in. And the nice thing about these, I can set a light on top of it or hang a light from it depending on where I need to be. I also plan to put heat in here at some point, so I don't really need the lights. Little baby ducks and stuff like that, chicks, can just kind of hang out in here and they don't need a light or a supplemental heat source, which eats up my power bill. Part of the plan to get heat in here is to use the free heat that I have on my wood boiler that's over there on the other side of the house, but I have to run a hose underground all the way over to here, and that's $16 a foot, and I have to dig a trench. So if I do that, I'm going to run one over here and heat the gray duck shed here and this shed as well, and heat it on wood heat or free heat. I burn cardboard in it too. So, you know, more free, more better, because right now the power bill is way up there, and I'd like to send it back down some. But it's coming along slowly but surely. We're getting there. I did install a fan in here. This is a 3200 CFM fan, so she really gets. There's a nice breeze blowing through here right now, and what this will do is help keep down the ammonia in here and make it easier and better for, you know, us and the little guys. The most important part of this shed, and I have a problem with it in the other one, and we're having a problem with it now, is when we have these doors open, all these stupid chickens, the ones that I have over here, want to be in this shed with you. There's no food on the floor, but they want to be in here shitting all over the place. It's not cool. So we have to keep these doors closed to keep them out of here, because we don't want, more importantly, we don't want outside stuff like bacteria and germs and parasites getting in here and infecting these. We want these guys to be nice and clean. So what we'll end up doing to, you know, improve ventilation, because, you know, I can leave the door open and have all the ventilation I want, but also chicken ingress. I think what we're going to do is cut holes in either here or something like that. Put vents on the outside, like the kind of register vents you find in your house that are just, you know, the slotted vents for air return, or, you know, the actual air conditioning to come out. Put them on here, and my concern when I brought it up with Kane is that they're always open, and he goes, just put a door on the back of it. Duh. So the nice thing about putting a door on the back of it is you can do some of the C channel that we have in here, do a sliding door that slides up and down into place. Just build a U-shaped frame so that when it comes back down, it has something to stop against. Or like my door in the chicken house over there, put a linear actuator on it and automate everything. Make it so that, you know, if it hits a certain temperature, it opens those up, turns on the fan, and once it hits the set temp, right, so the temperature you want it, closes everything back down. So keep those closed, put the vents here, automate them so they open and close by themselves when the temperature hits a set point. And I don't have to worry about, I can put screens on them and stuff to keep all these damn flies out of here crapping all over everything. Because if you look at the cord, it has all these little spots on it. That's fly poop, and it's all over everything. So they come in here and they land on stuff and they crap on it. And the problem with that is, like right now it's not bad, but like my tent over there, there's so much fly poop on the cords, they're actually kind of greasy and sticky. It's real disgusting. So we want to avoid that. We want to keep this place clean. And right now it's okay. We don't really have, we just have quail in here. But part of being biosecure is keeping everybody out that doesn't belong in here. People, animals, bugs, insects, whatever, all that stuff. Dogs. Keeping everybody out that doesn't belong in here is important. Oh, look, you can see me there pointing. So we want to make sure that everything's sealed and clean and closed. That way everybody's nice and healthy. I built today a waterer for actually my Black East Indies. So this water right here, I have one in my Black East Indie pen, and I got it from my farm partner down the road. He left them sit in the sun, so they're all flaky and they fall apart. Well, I broke it today. So I built a waterer that I'm going to put in these, and they're 1 gallon jugs. They look like, imagine this bucket here, right? But only this tall and exactly the same shape. So they look like small 1 or 5 gallon buckets, but they're 1 gallon. So in that, I'll do the same as the water over there. Put a float in it, put a little water bowl on it. And what that'll do for me is give me the option to have a reservoir of water. So I can peel the lid off and add to it medications or electrolytes or whatever I need to add to it. So like my turkeys that need to leave, they have something called MG, and it makes their faces swell and they look real ugly and they just look miserable. I can't treat them appropriately because I don't have a way to segregate them off so that, you know, I can get meds in them without treating everybody else. The best way to create antibiotic and, you know, resistant, you know, germs and bacteria and stuff like that is to treat everybody all the time, even if you have just a couple that need to be treated. So isolated treating is important. So what that means is I can take an MG infected turkey, which MG isn't, it doesn't really affect other birds. Turkeys are real sensitive to it. I can put them in one of these, segregate it off real well, cover it up, and treat each individual instead of everybody. That also means that, like, if the quail need electrolytes or the ducklings need more niacin or anything like that, I can treat individually. You know, if I have a duck that broke its leg, I can put it in here and just let her chill out, and give her all the stuff that she needs to be able to heal and repair and all that good stuff. So there's a real nice benefit to being able to segregate off individual animals in separate areas. It really helps and makes it a whole lot easier for me to maintain the health of my flock so that everybody benefits and I don't have a collapse where everybody's suddenly sick because I've treated everybody trying to fix everybody. This build will actually go in the duck shed over there. I'm going to rip everything out, the vertical brooders, the IBCs, all that stuff. I'm getting away from, I guess, floor-based bedding. The IBCs were good because I could pull them out and hose them down if I need to, and they wash off easily. But like these quail, for example, and my vertical brooders over there, they because the vertical brooders are so hard to clean and get the feces out, when it builds up and everything gets stuck and seized. And I've noticed it when chickens get a lot of wet weather, their toes, they'll actually build up little dookie balls on the end of their toes, and a few of the quail have it. But it should wear off in the next couple days. See that freaking quail right there? That's exactly what I'm talking about. It in there and roll around and they kick all that shit out of there and then they waste feed. But the dookie balls, they build up and they get real hard, and it makes it hard for the birds to walk. It doesn't affect them in a sort of hygiene way or health way. It's just not a good look. And I want people to believe that I'm saying this the wrong way. I want the perception to be that I take care of my birds well, because I do. It's just that small issues and nuances like that can be seen in a negative light. So I want to make sure that the birds are clean and healthy and happy. And screen is the way to do that. A lot of people see screen as kind of something that should be avoided, that isn't good for the birds. And I agree. But there's different kinds of screen, and you'll notice the screen is black. And the reason for that is because it's coated in vinyl. and it's soft. It doesn't, like, I can run my hand on this without, getting caught or hurting myself, whereas normal galvanized screen, the way that they make it is they hot dip it. So they have a vat of zinc, and they run the wire through it. When the wire comes out, you're gonna have little sharp pieces on each individual spot here where it starts to drip off and hardens and cools real fast. So it's not like every one of them has it, but those little spots can be rough on the feet, and it can cause issues with their feet. So we need to be careful with what kind of screen we use. And then you got people that are just ignorant and know better than you, so yeah, whatever. But we're using vinyl here to protect their feet, and it gives them more traction. And it's important, the traction part, especially when ducklings and goslings, any bird really, is young, because if they don't have traction, they get something called splay leg, where the legs just kind of go out behind them to the sides, and they can't, it affects the tendons and the muscles, and they can't bring themselves back up. So you get birds that end up not being able to walk. So traction, really quite important. With a smooth bottom brooder, the material that you put in there, if it isn't deep enough, it can slip. My partner Charlie, excuse me. Excuse me. He has to pay attention to that, especially. He raises emu, and emu need that deep layer, so he fills it up with like 6 inches of mulch to make sure that nothing is slipping. Emu are really susceptible to tendon slippage, and the tendon that goes around that kneecap will slip and pop off to the side, and it's a whole mess when it happens. You have to suspend them in like a trash can, and it sucks. So we want to make sure that these guys have a nice, good surface to walk on to keep traction, and screen does a real good job of that. Even the ducklings look happy and healthy in there, waddling around doing their thing. So yeah. And on a final note, you'll notice that I have a bunch of different colors of quail. So I got white ones, I got lilac ones. I'll lift this up and we can take a bit of a better peek in there. Man, I got something stuck in my throat. So you'll notice we have different colors. So we got some white ones, we got some like lilac colored ones, gray lilac, almost a blue, some slate, some standard Coturnics, kind of like brown, I guess. Now I know many of these colors, if I can separate them out, and they're hens and roosters, like the lilacs will bring some money, and some, like the slate or dark ones will bring some cash too. If I can do browns, segregate out that gene that gets a brown color, that'll be a nice sale point. Do the ones that have like a magpie color, like that guy right there. Try to clean up that magpie. So I have a lot of good colors in here from a guy that I got a bunch of quail from. So it's real important, if I can get all these colors to breed true and separate out, that I can sell these and make some good money on them. I mean, we're not talking like hundreds of dollars. We're talking just good money, good enough, right? But the plan is with the quail, and we're not doing it in this shed because the ceiling's too low. We're doing it in the other shed. Above this, I'm going to put in, along the length, quail cages. Like, they're called battery cages because you can do 4 quail to a cage. It's like, I think a foot deep or a foot across by 2 foot deep, or something like that. But you put 4 quail in there, and then you do roll out bottoms that are set at like 15 degrees. It's not enough to stress the quail, but it's enough to have the egg roll out automatically. So you don't have stuff like this where the quail are sitting in the back corner on top of eggs. Because there's like 8 eggs in here, and they're sitting on top of those eggs. Disadvantage here is when they sit on those eggs, they crack them, or they start incubating, and I don't want that. So yeah, just remove them, Ryan, just remove them. freaking lazy piece of crap, right? Yeah, easier said than done sometimes. But yeah, battery cages across the top, being able to just kind of lean in, reach back and grab and do what you need to do. Like I can stand here up against this and touch this back wall. So, you know, it'll be the same. These guys are, I don't know how deep they are, 2.5 feet, 3 foot, something like that. I don't know, but I can reach where I need to reach to be able to do what I need to do with a quail above these. So we want to breed quail and get, you know, a good supply going, either for food, eggs, or whatever, collectors, sales on eBay, stuff like that. But being able to offer a good stock of different animals is not putting your eggs in all in one basket. So that's why we do the Muscovy, the chickens, the ducks, the geese, the quail, trying to start on rabbits over there. I don't know what I'm really heading for with the rabbits. I don't know how I feel about them yet. I think I just need to get them all separated. I got 5 of them in one bin and they smell like shit, and they're, yeah, so anyway, but yeah, so thanks for watching. I know I did a lot of talking again, pointing and all that stuff, but you know, it's easier to point and all that good shit than pointing at my face and not show you what I'm talking about. So see you guys later.